Hey babies, I just wanted to talk about something that was that's been coming to me, and it's for Christians. It's for those who are coming out of Christianity. They feel led to come out of Christianity, or they've been led to take a few sabbaticals, back-to-back sabbaticals, and they feel like they're somehow or some way kind of no longer connected with their local congregation or whatever on some form or in some way. As I go back into my history of where it all began for me, I think it was me and one of my old friends we was doing research on the bloodline of Jesus Christ. And as we went back, and we just kept going back, and from the beginning, as far as we could go back, I don't know how far that was, but we came across some different things that just fell in our lap. It's not like we were digging and researching and looking for this and looking for that. It just, as we were led and guided, we were led and guided. And so we come across things, and then things would just happen to, oh, check this out. This popped up in my feed, or this, I just seen this video. It popped up, and watch it. We would watch the video, and we'll pull pieces from it that, Spirit highlighted for me. I have that gift or whatever, and I recognize things as gifts, and that I don't see everyone else with it. There's an inability for other people to do it. So for me, it's like a gift, I would say. And for me, I have an ability to read and only pull out what it is I need from a text, instead of having to go and get the entire text, especially if I'm led to the text. If I'm led to something because there is a question, or there is an explanation that I'm looking for. And when I go to something else, and if that points me someplace else, I know how to stop at the point that I get the revelation or the understanding that I need. And for some people, they will continue to read. And I would listen to, like, my friend, and I was like, you don't need to read any further. Like, this is now going into something totally different. Your answer was in the previous, what you've already read. You should have stopped at verse 4, and you keep going on to verse 24. You lose sight of what it is you came for. And so for me, that's how I read, and that's how Spirit leads and guides me. That's how intuition speaks to me and gets the message across to me. And so it's definitely a different route for other people. But in this season, there's something that I need you to understand. As you're crossing over, you could literally put the Bible down from this point. If you've been in the church for 5 years, if you've been avid in your Bible for 5 years plus, 20 and 30 years, y'all should know this by now, but I do know that there's a lot of people at 20 and 30 years of being in church and in Christianity that's having to push and move further, especially if you desire the more. If you're hungry and thirsty for more, you're hungry and thirsty for righteousness. If you want to be fed and it's just not doing it for you at your local congregation or whatever you're going to do. On Sundays and Wednesdays, whatever it is you do, if it's not enough for you, there is more. And the more is in putting to work everything that you read. And for me, I don't know if I released the video, but I made the video. I might not have released it because whatever reasons, I might not have released it. And so but it's basically saying, like, for me, I'm kind of seeing that religion is the knowing, but spirituality is the experiencing. And so what we have is a lot of people that know the word, but a lot of people that have not experienced the relationship that the word brings. And so a lot of people have gotten onto pulpits, they're in position, they're in leadership because they could remember the word. But we know that the life, breathing the life into the word is what makes all of the difference. And what I'm seeing is that a lot of people won't go further like that. They won't do that extra. They're not putting in that work there. And so you miss out on a lot because you don't have the experience. And so for me, what I realized is I literally had a pastor that said, once you think you over me, you above me, or something to that effect. You know more than me, and you don't need to be here. And I think that is, whether consciously or subconsciously, many leaders' stance, that they don't want anyone around them that may know more than you. And that's being shut off to being enlightened, being taught anything. But if you are true leaders, understand that we can be taught by everybody, and everything is a lesson to us. People come into your life to teach you lessons, simply put. From the teeniest one to the oldest one. That if you will listen and open up your heart to receive lessons, life lessons from everybody, you will receive an abundance of wisdom and experience. But you have to be open to it. That's the thing. You have to be open to it. And so, what we realized, what we found out in our researching, what we found out early on in our journey is that the witches were turned upside down, head nailed, burned at the cross, staked at the cross, and all of that, whatever, because they were more spiritually apt than the leaders, which were men. And so, and what I've experienced is still the same. Men do not want you to be smarter than them. They don't want you to be more in power than them, more endowed to them, more authority than them. They cannot stand it. And so what they think is that I'm going to subdue you and force you to become subservient. And so back in the day, earlier, they would literally kill the witches because what do you mean? And this is the problem. And this has been my life. So I know this has a lot to do with my past life as well, because Negroes can't stand that I know what I know. Negroes can't stand that they cannot manipulate me, strong arm me, and they're not powerful, more powerful than me. Men, and it's crazy because it's men and it's African American men. Now, I've never had to deal with any Caucasian or Hispanic or any other races, but I'm sure it's there. And I'm sure that it's not all men. It's just that the people that I've come in contact with, anytime I've had to hold a person accountable to what it is they say they were, they always fell short. And instead of just admitting and being vulnerable and saying, okay, yeah, I missed the mark on that, humbly forgive me, excuse me, Instead, they'd rather delete you, kill you, kick you out, get you far away. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to hold me accountable to who it is I say that I am. I dare not hold a man accountable to who it is he say he's supposed to be. It's like he just will never be. He can't be it. For some reason, it's not in his makeup to be who he says he really is. So, I don't know. They can't stand when you do that. And so that's what I learned. And that's when they want to label you as a witch, label you as kill you, crucify you, burn you on the cross and all of that, because they're not who they're supposed to be. And because you're not going to sit back and be telling me every time I'm off or I missed the mark. And not that you want to do that. It's not that you're going to do any of that. It's just that, hey, what you do need to know is that I'm not the one to be, I'm not the one. I'm not the what? Maybe somebody else is, but I am not the one. Don't play that on me. I am not the one. And so that's how it's been. Okay, and so that is what my definition of a witch is. Basically, a witch is anyone who someone else deems to be more mystical, more spiritual, more in touch with spirit. And so what people do is they get upset with you because you can clearly hear from spirit and they cannot. You hear on a different level than they are. You have power. And so the whole idea is to keep us in a place where you never, I was just telling my daughters, it's crazy because they want, the world wants you to stay subservient. What does that mean, to be subservient or codependent rather? So you need to get a house, you need to get a car, but you need a job to do that. And so you need to get this job. And the thing is this, as long as you're working for them and they're telling you this, that, and that, and taking a percentage of yours and all of that, then we are still subservient to the system. We're still codependent on the system. But what it is, needed in this season is to know what it is your gifts and your talents are. So when you get your gifts and talents, you can begin to use them to generate resources and income for yourself, where you are no longer codependent on anybody distributing their paycheck to you. You get your own amount of money and you pay taxes on it as you see fit, just as everybody, all the other entrepreneurs do. Okay? And so another thing is, you have to consciously understand what it means for someone to not want you. Okay, so spirit created me and put all these wonderful gifts in me, and you telling me that I'm not supposed to use them. Now, I mean, think about what's being said. I have a gift to speak to the dead, but you tell me that I shouldn't speak to the dead. Where did this gift come from? It had to go. All gifts come from the Most High. To discern spirits and gifts, hear, interpret, all of that comes from the Most High. So how dare you tell me which ones I can use and which ones I shouldn't use? That just doesn't make sense. It's not logical, people. So you have to understand, being balanced in your emotions, in your feelings, and logic is also very important. It doesn't make sense that he put all these gifts in me, but I cannot use these gifts. I'm going to use whatever he gave me. Come on. And so what it is the ability to know how to manipulate energy, or yes, kind of manipulate it. And so what's wrong is that we, manipulating it for the wrong purposes or whatever. But for the good of all involved, I'm going to manipulate some doggone energy for the good of all involved, not for your own advancement, okay? And so that's what I realized, that I was at a place that I know how to manipulate energy. I know how to pull some power up in somebody, especially somebody that's on a pulpit and preaching or teaching. I know how to pull them up into their most their most professional, their the most hold on, let me get this, their most powerful self. There you go. I know how to bring out the best in them. I know how to pull out the most powerful person that dwells within them. I know how to push them to their peak, to their level. And yes, sometimes it may be unwarranted from them. They don't desire it. But I would love to interview this man, because he could tell that I was doing it. He would be like, you better stop. Like, I see you, you witch. But I just don't want you to be I want the people to benefit. You said you're going to be a servant of the Most High. And because we know how to and this is what's called co-creating with spirit. Because I once heard, who was it, Dr. Cindy Trim, said that God can do nothing in the earth lest he do it through a man, a woman. And so that's what we need to understand, that if God can do nothing on the earth lest he do it through a man, who's going to be the man? Don't you want to be the man or the woman that he does it through? And so I strongly believe in, let's do the doggone thing, God. And so this is where it is, where you begin to walk in the oneness with spirit, because when you become obedient to a level of, I trust you. And so throughout my life and on my journey, Spirit has given me things and signs and symbols to tell me, I trust you. I trust you. And so when you understand that you are trusted in this way with Spirit, you know how to not misuse and abuse this. Not for the purposes of hurting other people, manipulating other people, trying to get rich off of other people. You know how you're even balanced. You know, you're well balanced. And so for me, it was about, okay, let me, he said things like, okay, I'm going to give you my signet ring. 1 year he said, I'm going to give you carte blanche. And I had to say, like, I heard it before, but I really didn't know what it was. And so I had to look up carte blanche. And then he basically said, like, I will sign off on whatever it is you want to do. I'm going to sign off on it. So I carry you in the realm of the Spirit in a way that whatever checks your ass want to write, I will sign the check. But you have to be careful when you give people that. It's basically saying carte blanche is basically a blank check that you do whatever you want to do, and I'm going to do the doggone thing with you. And that's how we need to learn how to walk in line with Spirit. You have to walk in a way with Spirit, where Spirit will say, I want to do what you want to do. What is it you want to do? Because put me to work for you. I will work for you. I will do it for you. You have to want to do it. And so and there's a level of balance to it, especially when you're hearing Spirit, you know. And I always say it's the way Jesus walked with Spirit. He says, I do only what I see my Father doing. I say only what I hear. I think they said Benny Hinn had a book that says all of the written words of Jesus. And so this is the life that I'm brought up on. Does that go away? No, it doesn't go away, because I'm already there. But what he's saying is that you don't need to go backwards. You've already passed that test right there. Those tests, you don't need to, you don't need to go backwards that way. I got so much more abundance for you. So when you get to this place of abundance, you realize that I have ranked up to a level that I have not seen people flowing in. And this is, to me, this is what the kingdom is all about. This is the kingdom of basically saying what I want, doing what I want, and it's already knowing that it's already signed, sealed, and delivered because of who I am in the realm of the Spirit. That's some ish for you. But in the same instance, that no, because I'm already so abundant. One thing for sure is that before any material things come, you realize that, wait a second, the fact that I know this, the fact that anything that I desire can come to me easily, the fact that I'm already blessed is abundant. So you realize, wait a second, I'm already living the abundant life. But Lord, if you want to bless me with anything else, that's just the icing on the cake and the cherry on top, right? And so it is. And so you don't necessarily ever have to misuse or abuse it, because you're already in such a grateful place. So people, I'm trying to tell you, y'all, a lot of you are already abundantly blessed in every area of your life. And just not to be sick, not to be stressed out over anything, not to have any worries in the world. I'm telling you, can it get any better than this? Yeah, it could get a little better than this, because I would love a house on the beach. I would love my beach house. That, I'm just being honest. It could get better. It could get better. But do I need a beach house? I don't need a beach house, but I want it. I want what I want. And so that's that. But everything else in your life, and then of course just having more money at your fingertips. Are you going to do right with it though? Sometimes, more money means more problems. So you really have to distinguish, is it truly worth it on the end? Is the more money truly worth it on the end? And in some cases it is, in some cases it is not. And so That's what I want to tell you. So that's what I know about being a witch and what Spirit has downloaded and given to me concerning witches and witchcraft. And that's how it came about. Witchcraft came about because these leaders were spiritual. And I can imagine back there whenever that happened, over 100 years, 200 years ago, possibly, I can imagine them getting to a place where they're saying, Martin Luther or whoever, I don't know what leaders did this, but I can imagine it getting to a place where somebody's saying, you know what, you said X, Y, and Z, and Spirit showed me X, Y, and Z. And so what happens is people will not tell you, oh, you're right about X, Y, and Z. They will not do that. What they'll do is instead, because you are only going off of what Spirit says. So if Spirit said you're stealing money, I'm just going to take it for granted. You are stealing money. Now even though I confront you with this, most people are not going to say, yeah, you're right, I was stealing money. But and somehow or some way they usually tell them themselves. And then at that point, the next evidence of that, what you said was true, is that they will get away from you. No, they will make you get away from them. They want you out and get away from me, because I don't need you peeping on me, telling on me and seeing what I'm doing. That they want you to get away, okay? And so that's how you kind of know that what Spirit said to you was true concerning that person, okay? So that's what witch is. For me, that's the definition of being a witch. The thing is, which witch is which? Because there's good witches and there's bad witches. But we have gifts, and the gifts are supposed to be used for the advancement of all of humanity. So who and for what are you using these gifts for? So if you have the ability to move in the realm of the Spirit specific ways, are you trying to peep out people? Are you trying to look at their evil? Are you trying to look at their hidden secrets and stuff to use them and to use those things against you? Or are you looking to help heal? There's a difference, and there's a thin line between the two. And so it's all about whatever your intentions are. What's your intentions on doing what you're doing? Okay. And so one of the things I'm seeing and I'm hearing a lot about is people using spell work for love and stuff. Love is something that's generated in the heart. And I don't care how much spell work you do on a person to try to get them to love you. If they don't naturally love you, then and you want them, there's something wrong with you. You need to use spell work on you and heal your heart, heal your issues, heal your trauma. Because at the end of the day, you shouldn't want to love anyone who doesn't want to love you. You love them from a distance. But if they consciously don't want you in a sober mind, then trying to get them to be out of their mind to want you that's just crazy to me. That's just lunacy. Like you got to be a lunatic, and no amount of money is going to make me be in the presence of somebody that I just don't like. I mean, when you don't like people, you don't like their smell, you don't like their scent, you don't like when they open their mouth, you don't like when they wake up. You don't like a person, you just not attracted to them, you just don't like them, and nothing's going to make you do it. And so why would you have to sacrifice your entire existence for that? Baby, be with somebody that loves you back the way you love them, okay? Just be, And so that's the whole thing about which is which. All right, be blessed. Have a good one.